Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Tagline podcast. I almost said the Unsolicited Opinions podcast. There, sorry.
I know, it's Fridays.
Yeah, I know. We didn't have one this Friday because everybody was, everywhere else. So, I had a live stream this morning instead. But anyways, welcome to the Tagline podcast where I, the Meerkat Monarch, and my very good friend...
Gene, the Angry Penguin. How are you doing, Jen? Long time no BS.
Yeah. It's been a bunch of different things. I've been a bit sick, and I've been away, and I've had a lot of work on different projects, so it's been a little bit difficult.
Well, you did come back for our Cohen October, or as Cocktober, as
Cocktober. Yeah,
Yes.
And today we're going to be talking about the Big Lebowski.
The quintessential Cohen-style comedy.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it is. It is. It's the typical sort of farce put in a different type of environment, which is kind of their thing. They take one genre and then they place it into an unrecognizable, or they take a classical story and they place it in a unrecognizable environment. Like, yeah.
Would you say Big Lebowski is almost... in the hands of another director with different well, that's saying a lot, with different characters, but it's almost film noirish, you know?
I wouldn't necessarily say film noirish. There are film noir elements of it. I mean, it is the typical gumshoe detective thing, but there's also a lot of farcical things about it, sort of family drama, a name confusion, and so on.
Definitely a comedy of errors.
yeah, a comedy of errors or a farce. So it's the kind of movie that you. I would definitely say, I would definitely agree with you that there is some element of film noir of
well,
it.
I mean, if you took competent characters and put them in the exact same situation, it would have a very film noir film. You would have a detective who knew what he was doing. Bad guys who were actually up to something. You have the double cross. You know, all of those elements are there, but it's just so And it's presented like a morality tale with no moral.
Yeah, no moral whatsoever.
You have the stranger who tells it like it's this story that needs to be told.
Yeah. and
then
it basically it isn't, because the hero doesn't progress in any kind of way. It's still the same. It's still the same friendship at the end of it. And okay, spoiler alert. I mean, he does end up losing a friend.
Yeah. Well, you can think of it. It's the story of Lebowski losing his cool.
Yeah.
That's basically what it is. You know.
Yeah, and it's not just losing his cool. It's what could be done to sort of drive him to the lengths that he goes to sometimes to find that money.
I'm just remembering the nihilists.
Yeah. There are a lot of sort of. there is an element of film noir in it, but it's not too. You don't have the classical film noir recipe, sort of dangerous woman seeks out man to hire him, and then
Well,
but it's yeah. There are people that are claiming to be things that they're not, and yeah,
yeah, it's all. I just enjoy it so much because of how the Coens tell their stories. You
yeah,
don't have to have. You don't know why the dude is the way the dude is. He's just the dude.
yeah,
Everything you need to know about the character comes across. And with all the characters, everything's just, it's either and you're not told it necessarily most of the time, you're just shown it.
yeah.
The characters just act the way the characters act. Donnie and I cannot remember John Goodman's character's name for the life of me right now.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
Yeah, Drew.
I just watched it as well. Walter.
Walter, yeah.
Yeah. Which, yeah, and they are polar opposites as well, because Steve Buscemi usually plays a little bit more manic characters. So it's kind of fun to watch him be this meek and kind of quiet character. Which seems,
yeah, just really,
yeah.
I didn't, and I may just not understand. It feels like a film that there is a lot of depth to, but I'm not sure if that's just because of the way it's the Coens and it's the way they make films. I'm not sure that there's that depth to actually be read out of it. Does it just feel like there's depth, or does the character of Donnie represent something, or is he just Donnie? Is he just the character in the story?
So,
you know.
The thing about the Coen brothers is that sometimes people overanalyze their movies. Sometimes it's just about telling a cool story with a bunch of twists and turns to sort of,
Well, I think the best example of that was I was watching this thing on Fargo, and William H. Macy was sitting there, and he said he went up to the Coens and he asked them to tell him about the case. And they're like, "What case?" He's like, "The case the story's based on." He's like, well, "There's no case." It's like, but at the beginning of the movie, at the beginning of the script, it says based on a true story. There you go. We know that's a lie.
yeah,
The whole idea is if you tell people something's based on a true story, they get into it more. And
yeah,
so they were just doing it because it made the story feel more real.
yeah,
And it's not so much that something has a meaning that piece needs to be there.
yeah. I get you. Yeah, and we will
Yeah.
probably cover Fargo as well, because we're doing two votes this month as well as just.
Well, I mean, I assume this month we'll at least get to have at least one weekend dedicated to Coen-based bloodbaths.
Yeah.
Because we started with the Big Lebowski with all the politics and everything that's going on in the world. We figured we'd start talking about drugs, nihilists, and the word fuck.
Yeah, because it seems to be filled everywhere now. I mean, the dude would not appreciate the world that we live in now.
No, it's lost its school. We're not a dude-friendly world. And maybe I think that's part of the film. It's like, this is a character that could only exist in a particular environment.
Yeah.
In a particular time and place, like it says at the beginning. He was the right person for that time and place.
Yeah. Any other time and place, he would be a character out of time, or he just fits that scenario perfectly because it's the edge of the sort of corporatization of Hollywood to a huge degree. So he seems like a believable character from that era, that he could live in that apartment without having to work.
Before things got too expensive in California.
Yeah, exactly. Like it
But
never has been.
well, I mean, and I don't know anyone who dislikes the film. I'm sure there are people out there that hate The Big Lebowski.
Oh yeah,
But
probably.
Somebody hates everything. But it seems pretty universal. There's something about that story, whether it's just that it's lighthearted, or what. There's something about it that kind of speaks to everybody. Everybody kind of gets something different about it, and finds different pieces of humor. It is really layered humor. You know. I mean, you can watch the film and not get any deeper than the creative cursing in it, and you'll laugh your ass off.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you have these more nuanced jokes. You have all these deep references, and you can get a more.
And then you have the acid flashback
layer.
Sequences as well. The acid flashback sequences. Those are also. Yeah.
It kind of feels like they called oh god, I'm drawing all sorts of blank today. Edward Scissorhands director.
Oh, Tim Burton.
Yeah, like they called Tim Burton to say, what would you have been doing in the early 70s?
Yeah.
What did you dream in the early 70s when you were on drugs?
Yeah, well, this movie is placed in the 1990s, but yeah, I get your point. I mean, the movies, the acid flashbacks are basically based upon 70s porn. A lot of it. 70s and 80s porn.
Well, the whole thing is based on, like, porn and bowling.
Yeah. Pretty much. That should have been the tagline for it. Porn and bowling.
And
we should do more taglines for movies that we talk about.
Yeah, that would be a better way to name our episodes.
Yeah.
This is okay, halfway through. This is the porn and bowling episode.
Yes.
And like speaking of the nihilists, who I think are just this weird addition to the film that somehow works. It's like, part of me wants to say, what were they trying as artists? What were they trying to say with these characters, or did they just think nihilists were funny?
Yeah. I think it's the latter there, because I don't think that they necessarily try to tell too much with their movies. It's the same thing with placing the based upon a true story at the beginning of Fargo. It's a lark. It's a troll. It's basically them.
What makes this movie better?
Yeah, exactly.
What makes this story best for the audience?
What makes it pop? What draws them in? And the thing about The Big Lebowski, I think it is. That's just the draw to The Big Lebowski, and I fucking love that movie. It is one of my favorite Coen Brothers movies. Even though I actually like the new one, Hail Caesar, as well, and we might talk about that as well.
Well, Hail Caesar is, in a few ways, like Big Lebowski. It's kind of a period piece.
Yeah, this is placed to the 1930s or 1940s. I seem to remember.
Late after World War II, if I remember.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
yes,
probably,
it is
probably
because the whole fucking plot is, yes. I'm not going to spoil anything because it's a newer movie and I don't want to spoil anything for anybody.
But yeah, it's definitely worth seeing. It's I wouldn't say it's the same quality as The Big Lebowski. I don't think it has the same universal appeal, but it is a love letter to the early film industry.
Yeah.
and it's definitely worth seeing if you enjoy film or just enjoy the Coen brothers. You know, you're not gonna.
Yeah.
It doesn't have as many memorable things as the Big Lebowski. It's a little bit busier, uh,
Yeah.
but it's still a good film. Still pretty enjoyable. You know, it's one of
Absolutely.
those ones you need to watch it, but
Yeah.
you know, it's not their best film either.
No, but it's a good movie. It is a good movie. But anyways, going back to the Big Lebowski, we're not gonna. This episode is not gonna drag on too much because I'm having issues with my jaw, so I may have to quit in a little while. But it's gonna be, yeah. We're gonna talk a little bit about the the characters. I mean, the Big Lebowski. We covered him pretty much, but the different sort of characters that you have, the sort of sex positive feminist daughter of the Big Lebowski. She seems very. That's the thing about the Coen Brothers. When they write a movie, all of their characters seem like they belong in the period that they're covering, but that's probably why their comedies feel so natural, because the characters don't seem out of place.
Well, and I think it's that you have a ridiculous character as the one the audience relates to,
Yeah.
and the dude's ridiculous, you know, but he's so nice and so likable, and the actor does such a great job with him bringing that character across. You can't hate him.
No.
You don't even have to particularly like him, but you don't hate him. You
Yeah.
know, and you see just by spending a little time with the character early on in the film, you see the world like he sees it, you know, and so you know what you're in for, so to speak.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
you know, and
It's
almost part of me, the more I'm thinking about it, I almost want to say the film is almost kind of taking the piss out of different philosophies in general, like as an underlying theme. You know,
yeah. Yeah.
overthinking things is kind of the theme of the film. It's
Yeah,
like
and
all the
it is kind of poking fun at the hipster community before it became a thing, and making fun of the people that would overanalyze a movie like that. It feels like the the actual flashback scenes are just there to, okay, figure this one out, assholes. This it's
it.
just we're just gonna be blatantly out there about it, and
So
just
you think it's I am the walrus of movies?
yeah, and they reference I Am the Walrus in the movie.
You know, the Coens aren't the most. I love the Coens because they can be so absolutely subtle and so in your face at the exact same time,
Yeah.
and it's like they are taunting you to think too much about it.
Yes, they are.
Or maybe it's just that's what makes these guys great filmmakers, because they make a film and they make it in such a way that if you enjoy a more intellectual approach to film, if you enjoy a little more artistic, if you enjoy a little more, uh, lowbrow, it's all there and it's all
Yeah.
meshed well.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
you
And then
you're given permission to overthink the film if
yes.
you want.
Yes. And and it may be that it's just them trying to make fun of that environment, or it may be just it's a smorgasbord of a film. It's basically, well, take whatever you feel like it out of it, and that is kind of great. I hate to fucking use that term, but it's kind of great art. that's the thing about great art, is that you don't have to. You take what you feel out of great art. So if for instance, a lot of modern art, I can't get it at all, and I get nothing out of it. I get a lot more out of classical art than I do some of the modern art. Not the Impressionists and so on. The Impressionists I fucking love, but it is that's the thing about the greatest kinds of art, is the kind of art that even a lowbrow person can look at and say, okay, I'm getting something from this. I am getting a feeling from this. And then the more highbrow people can also look at it and say, yeah, I'm getting something else out of it. And that's
Yeah,
great art.
yeah, it just works on, like I said already, and I'm hammering the point home, but it works on so many different levels. I mean, it's colorful, it's visceral, it's humorous, it's serious if you really want to think about it. You know, it's taking the piss out of a period and making love to the same
Yeah.
time frame. You know, it's giving you the good, the bad, and all of it, and it's all just mixed together there for you, so you can kind of walk away feeling however you want about the film. You know, and just to comment on some of the more modern art. You know, I'm not an art major, don't know the terminology, but I think a lot of modern art is just about trying to get people's attention,
Yeah.
and you know, that doesn't work. You make a thing that is good, and people will pay attention to it.
Yeah.
You know, uh, you make a thing that's will make you laugh or make you cry or is beautiful or is hideous, and you make that thing, and it speaks for itself. You know, if the art's not saying anything, I I don't want to say you failed as an artist, because that's your own thing. You know, if you find a group of people that like it, that's great. You know,
Yeah,
but I think
yeah. Yeah,
go
go
ahead.
ahead. No, sorry.
And I think art really does have to speak. It has to speak to someone. It may only ever speak to you, and you've got to be happy with that. It's just I don't like somebody who is going to sit there and say, "Well, you just don't get it." It's
Yeah,
like,
and that
well, you
is
didn't give me anything.
it's like Fizzy says in chat right now. You don't appreciate paint balloons dropped from Vag?
No, I don't.
No.
I don't.
You know what?
Especially if I hired somebody to repaint my damn house.
Yeah, exactly. And that's another good point from Keld. Word of mouth can't spread things that just want attention. So modern art wouldn't survive if they didn't have mouthpieces for them.
Well, it's like something like Piss Christ. You know, I only know about it because it offended somebody. I
Yeah,
saw it and I was like, this is dumb. You know, I wouldn't get offended. I would have just laughed at the guy and told him to go back to art school.
yeah.
You know, I don't even think it's a particularly good photograph. Uh,
No,
you know, there's
exactly.
nothing about it. I mean, it's yellow.
Yeah,
It's got a crucifix in it. He took a lot of vitamin C before making this. That's all I can say.
yeah,
You know, it's just trying to offend for the sake of offending, and a lot of stuff is like that. They want to shock. It's like the torture porn. You know.
yeah. I know the torture
You,
porn. I'm not saying that I browse the torture porn. I would never
well,
browse the
no, I'm
torture
talking
porn.
about movies. The genre. You know,
Oh yeah,
Eli Roth and that stuff. Not
yeah,
actual
yeah,
torture porn.
yeah.
Not
I
you.
just started a new meme about myself, didn't I?
Mm-hmm. Poor mannequin. Uh, no, but it's like that. It's like that's why that as a genre didn't make it. Where there is directors out of Japan that made lots of films, made a good bit of money, and have
Yeah,
kind of an underground following, because it was more than that. There was something else to it, and you know you've got to have that something else. You can't just do something to get somebody's attention.
No,
and we're
exactly.
completely off topic.
Yeah.
All I
Yeah.
know is my girlfriend gave up her toe for that money, Lebowski.
That's the money, Lebowski.
Don't worry, Donnie, they're nihilists.
They're fucking pussies. Oh god. The nihilists are the type of people that would be complaining about online harassment right now.
No politics. This isn't a political show. Uh, no, but it's true. They are. I would love, and I think for the most part, stuff like that, the Coens are probably in a position to be able to ignore most of what's going on. And
Yeah.
they probably don't have a lot of interaction with that because I think they really would have a lot of fun taking the piss out of that kind of person
Yeah,
and
that's
that kind of
why I often
character.
say that Trey Parker and Matt Stone are the animated Coen brothers.
Uh, those two never. I don't think they get enough credit for how clever they
No,
actually
they are
are.
fucking. They're brilliant. They are brilliant, and we should do a month, or at least a show, dedicated to the lovely South Park guys. But
Well,
I think we should.
after ctober.
Yeah, after October. But we probably need to wrap things up. So, have you got? Should we just say that the tagline for the Big Lebowski is porn and bowling?
Yeah, yeah. It's porn and bowling.
Yeah. You got any recommendations for this week?
I think I am going to go with a Cohen recommendation. I've said it in the past. I'm going to say it again. If you haven't seen it, Barton Fink.
Yeah.
It's a very odd little film. I'm just going to stick with what we're supposed to be talking about today, and I'm going to stick with the Coens. I don't think a lot of people have seen it. Barton Fink. And as a secondary, if you haven't, Barton Fink's a little more specific taste.
Yeah.
But if you have not seen the Hudsucker Proxy, you're doing yourself a great disservice, and I know a lot of people haven't seen that
We
one.
might do the Hudsucker Proxy later this month.
I mean,
we got a lot of movies to pick from. So I'm gonna do a poll this week. So we do a audience topic next weekend, and then we're gonna do our pick the weekend after that, and so on and so forth.
Yes, we're going to go back and forth this month. So next weekend is audience pick. Jan will put up a poll.
Yeah.
With 4 or 5 of the Coens films and let y'all pick, and we'll go from there. Do you have any recommendations this week, Jan?
Yes, Burn After Reading.
Uh-huh.
I think it's one of the best CIA-based comedies.
And not to spoil it, but the conversation between the CIA guy and the guy reporting into him at the end,
yeah,
I want to laugh just thinking about it. It just tickles me to no end.
It's hilarious. And it's another comedy of errors, basically. They do a lot of them, and they're fucking great at it. So, yeah.
I'd say Burn After Reading is almost a comedy of self-immolation.
Yeah. You did it to yourself, goddammit.
Pretty much. That is You Did It to Yourself, the movie.
Yeah.
Everybody gets their thing. Anything else before we go?
Yes, next weekend. I think we're gonna do the mock debate.
Yes, the master debate.
Yeah.
We are, with unsolicited opinions, hopefully next Saturday, we are going to do a mock debate. We're still trying to finalize a few things. Not everybody is available at the same time to answer all the questions I have, but we are trying to get it together. I will be, oh God, my word left me.
Moderating.
Moderating. Thank you, Jen. I will be moderating, and we will have members of the Unsolicited Opinion crew representing different memes and or ideas. And they will be debating amongst themselves to see who we should actually vote for president. Because I'm not happy with the choices we have, so we're going to make some up.
Yeah, like these nuts.
Yes, these nuts.
I have very many these nuts jokes.
Yeah, I'm so happy. I cannot wait. But that will be next Saturday. We will post more information as we get it. And as usual, Unsolicited Opinions will be held Friday afternoon at its usual time, which is 2 o'clock Eastern? No.
Yeah.
No, 4 o'clock Eastern.
4 o'clock Eastern, and 10 o'clock CET, and 9 o'clock UK time. So,
and that'll be the usual cast: Art, Jen, Evil, Scott, Sky,
Flippy,
Roy.
Yeah,
Flippy.
Yeah, Roy Scott. Roy
Scott.
Yeah, Roy is Scott.
I don't know. That's why I'm gonna just start referring to him as the Mystery Man because I can never get it right.
Unicorn.
The unicorn, yes, yeah. The unicorn. And they will be. Do y'all know what main topic y'all are covering this week, or?
No, the fucking week hasn't started yet. I mean, the idiocy will probably fill itself by the end of the week.
Yes, this weekend there was some stuff. Nope, not getting into it. This isn't a political show. This is about movies.
Yes.
So, thank y'all for tuning in. Unsolicited Opinion Podcast, 4 p.m. Eastern Time, 10 p.m. CET.
Yep.
And next Saturday, look forward to the Unsolicited Master Debates. We will be giving you all some more information about when that will be exactly, moderated by yours truly. We look forward to seeing y'all then. Y'all have a good night. Afternoon.